Hey folks, this is Dennis Boren, criminal defense attorney and former felony prosecutor. I want to talk to you today about whether you can commit a crime and get away with it. The answer to that is yes, you can. It's called affirmative defenses. Essentially what an affirmative defense is saying that, yes, I did it, but there's some mitigating or excusing factor. I'm going to run through a few of these with you. The first one is a mistake of fact. That means you reasonably were mistaken about something. Give you a really easy example is you picked up someone else's cell phone and you took it home. Well, the reason you did it is because it looked just like your cell phone. That same could be true with anything with luggage or whatever. That's mistake of fact. Mistake of law is another affirmative defense. Now, this one's a little tougher because the old adage, ignorance of the law is no excuse, which is generally true. You're held to the standard that if it's a law, you are deemed to have known it, even if you may not have actually known it. Okay? Now, there is a defense if you were relying on some official agency or official who made a statement, like let's say the Attorney General came out and said marijuana was legal, and you relied upon that. Now that's a very unlikely situation, but that would be an example of that. We've all heard of the insanity defense, which of course means that you're not legally culpable or chargeable or responsible for the consequences of your actions if you don't know what they are. Now that's a difficult defense, and once the defense raises it, it's up to the prosecution. They have to use a higher standard. If it's raised by the defense, it only has to be proven by what's called preponderance of the evidence. That just means more likely than not this person's insane. Then the state has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they are in fact sane. Another common one is self-defense, that you did kill somebody, for example, but you did it in self-defense. I'm going to discuss the Castle Doctrine in another video, but self-defense is another affirmative defense. Duress is another one. It's a little bit different if it's a misdemeanor or a felony. If someone is threatening you and you commit a crime, a misdemeanor. Again, it's reasonable in a standard. It can't just be that you just believe you're being threatened because the guy looked at you and, crossed his eyes. It has to be more than that. Now, on a felony, for duress to be a self-defense, you have to believe reasonably that you're being threatened with imminent bodily injury or death should you not commit the offense. Intoxication. The general rule is in voluntary intoxication. Well, voluntary intoxication is never going to be a grounds for affirmative defense. Involuntary intoxication, yes. Classic example, someone has slipped a Mickey into your drink. Another common one is somebody takes Ambien and they don't remember what they did. And if they were to commit a criminal offense, even though they meant to take the Ambien, they certainly didn't intend for it to have that effect. Entrapment is another one. That simply means that you were induced to commit a crime by law enforcement that would also induce an average or regular person in your situation. It can't just be unique to you. There's this reasonable standard. And it's more than just giving somebody an opportunity to commit a crime. This is done all the time. Police leave a bait car out for a car thief to come by and get. And once they start it, it dies after a certain point and the doors all lock. That is not entrapment. Age is another one. In Texas, if you're less than 15, you cannot be charged as an adult. And you have defenses against everything except traffic offenses and were you to lie under oath. Now, 15 to 17, you can be certified as an adult. And I'm not going to get into the weeds about that, but there is a process that it has to be proven. If you're 17 or older, you're fully liable. You're an adult for purposes of the criminal law. If I can answer any questions, if you have anything that comes to mind regarding this that you need to know, please reach out to me. I'll be happy to answer those. And remember, if you're ever engaged by a law enforcement officer, turn on your smartphone's video app and record what's happening. That can protect you.